I think what bugged me the most about it was that my son was proud of me in that moment.
Yeah,
He
he's the
said
one that
something really
gave you a
nice.
shout out.
Yes,
He
and with
gave you the shout out.
yes, teenage boy gave me a shout out to his mom, like
Uh-huh.
to someone he likes and respects. And my response was to shut it down and to play small. And it is not a great feeling.
Hi, I'm Jen.
And I'm Suzanne. Hey, friend. Today we are talking about downplaying our accomplishments. Whew. This is something I struggle with readily. I have always struggled with. And it came up again recently. So I
Ooh.
went with my son to meet his strength trainer. So we're taking a tour of the gym, checking it all out. And the trainer starts talking about his accomplishments. And oh, Lord, like he is all this great education, great experience, great gym, all these accomplishments, awards, etc. And he said something to the effect of, like, I don't know if you've been in the gym much. And my son said, oh, actually, my mom was a Division I volleyball player. And all the
Which you
faces
were.
turned to me, which I was. And my immediate response was, oh, I mean, I just played at a small school in New York. Like, yeah, I mean, I wasn't like a legit D1 player.
Oh, legit.
And they kind of looked
Interesting
at
choice
me,
of words.
and the trainer said, well, you played D1 then? I said, yeah. He's like, then you played D1. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, but whatever. Just, moving on. And,
moving on. This is uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable, right? And just the downplaying. And in my brain, I was so nervous when he mentioned it. And I have no idea why. Like, this is what I'm definitely still working through, is how my accomplishments are somehow, because on one hand, I'm super proud of myself, right?
As you should be.
And there's a lot of cool things about it. And yet on the other, it's like, oh, it's not real. It's not really true. Yet, if someone was to say to me, Susan, and we've talked about this before, well, you didn't really play D1 volleyball. I'd be like, what? Heck yeah, I did. Right? Like, it's
fight.
Yeah. Right? fight. And so it's a very like odd mix of the two. And a couple things occurred to me at the time. Was one, I said it, and as I was saying it, I stopped and thought, why are we downplaying it? Like, literally as I was saying it, but was such an automatic response.
Right.
And I've said it so many times in my life, no matter what the topic has been. Yes.
Is
so
that
whether
a saying, well, let's just stick to volleyball. So if people ask you or they find out, oh, you played volleyball in college, is that your standard response?
Always.
The downplay.
That's just, I did. I played in New York and it was great. I got to go from California to New York and I have a whole little spiel.
Oh, little story. Oh, little spiel. Okay.
And then spiel.
My made up words. Get used to it.
So, yeah, I have like a whole thing that I say. I never mentioned that it was Division I. I never mentioned that I got a scholarship. I just say I played in New York. And then sometimes people will ask more about it and other times they won't. And I just let it lie. Like it's not like I'm like, oh, hey, guess what?
Yeah. I went to Harvard.
Yeah, right. So it's just an odd thing. But I think what bugged me the most about it was that my son was proud of me in that moment.
Yeah, he's the one that
really
gave you
nice.
a shout out.
Yes.
He gave you the shout out.
Yes. Teenage boy gave me a shout out to his mom, like to someone he likes and respects. And my response was to shut it down and to play small. And it is not a great feeling. It's not a great feeling. And it's certainly not how I'd want my son to show up or how I tell him to show up. But what I just modeled for him And so much of my concern was, Suzanne, that's what you're modeling for your kid. Like, so much of the changes I know we've made is so that our kids see us in our actions differently, right? Because our
100%.
words, especially teenagers, they think we're all idiots to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they do watch us.
Absolutely.
So in that
Absolutely.
moment, that's what my son saw. And it was not a great feeling. And it's still, as I sit here and retell the story a week later, it's still not a great feeling.
Wow.
And I want to change it. So part of this
Yeah.
conversation is I want to understand where it's coming from. So some of the conversations or stories I tell are things I've kind of already figured out and
Yeah.
that maybe I need to work on. And then there's ones like
Mm-hmm.
these that I'm still not 100% sure. And I think that working through it with you is so
Mm-hmm.
helpful
Mm-hmm.
to try to understand where it's coming from so that I can then shift my perspective and make different choices. But I don't know. What do you think? Ask all the questions, do all the
Ooh,
things.
I've got I'm just sitting over here like, oh, I'm so ready. So I feel like
The
there's
big
two.
sister thing, by the way. You have such
I
an
know, I'm
older
all.
sister.
So there's two things. So we've got what happened with your son after the incident occurred, right? Like, how do you rebuild that? Talk about it. And then we have over here, why are we showing up small? Why are we downplaying? So which road do you want to go down first?
Let's go to the cause. This is why I'm playing small first.
Okay. Okay. So I guess if you sit there, like if you kind of go back to that moment and you're sitting there, like, because that's the most recent, what emotions come up, like from them acknowledging your D1, whether it be your son acknowledging it or the guy being shocked or impressed or whatever word you want to use? What feelings actually come up? Because that's driving why you're playing, in my opinion. Usually that's driving why you're playing small.
Yeah. And so this is one of those where I feel like I can just throw out some random statements, but I don't have a good idea of where it's coming from. So the first thing is what's he going to think of me? Am I a fraud? Like a little imposter syndrome.
Okay. So let's stop there. Is that because you weren't the best player of all the D1 players, or you didn't go to the best school of all the D1 schools?
For sure.
So let's just start there. Factually, you don't have to be literally the best in the world, the number one volleyball player in the world, in order to be a very good player.
That's true. I will acknowledge that, yes.
Okay, great. So I think when you just kind of take that down to, let's just say, playing volleyball let's just keep it in D1, you still qualified for a D1 school and you got a scholarship.
Yes.
And you played.
Yes.
You played.
I did.
You didn't ride the bench. You weren't like redshirted the whole time. Like, you played. Yes. You were an active participant on your team for 4 years.
It was a starter for 4 years, yes.
So you absolutely got a scholarship. You absolutely went to a D1 school, and you absolutely started or played. I mean, you don't even have to start to say that. So all those things are true.
Yes.
So what about that is untrue?
Nothing.
Right. So you are legit, as we like to say. Legit.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's a story that you have
legit to quit. Hey, hey.
Distraction. She's avoiding. It's getting uncomfortable. So that is just a story you have to accept the truth. I feel like in this moment, you have to accept that what I just said is all true because you don't disagree with it.
Well,
and would you tell?
You know what's crazy is you said that I have never, not once, did that factual analysis. Not once. Like, for all the times I've said to myself, well, okay, is that true or is that not? I've never thought to myself, like, the acknowledgement of, yeah, you weren't the number one of the number one players, but you qualified and did all of these things. And that analysis really works for me. I was like,
it does.
Because it's completely true. And it's,
yeah.
And
it's not open to interpretation that those things happened.
There's literally confetti. My sister, she uses her hands so much. And if you're on our YouTube channel, you can literally see confetti because her hands go around all the time.
Sorry, friends.
Anyways,
you're welcome,
yes.
YouTubers.
Yes.
So yeah, because my statements are so good, confetti comes up. So I think at least for that, I mean, we could obviously be here for like an hour deep diving that, but that alone,
that's really helpful. You're right.
And then I think the second part of that road is accepting a compliment because that's what it is. It's a compliment to you. And I will say that because I'm not good at accepting compliments either. So
yet
you're just going to have to be uncomfortable and say, thank you, or yes, I was, or come up with something that you can say that you feel good about, that you feel authentic, genuine.
Yeah.
That is like, you know how you have your little statement to downplay it? You just come up with a new statement that you can say when you feel uncomfortable. Like, thanks, it was a great experience. Moving on, right?
Like
if they ask you another thing, they don't ask you another thing, you have your coined response until you get to a point where you're
won't need it anymore.
Comfortable to see where the conversation takes you.
Yeah. I like that. I can use that one.
So say it. You played D1 volleyball?
Thanks. Yeah, it was a great experience.
See? How did that feel?
Yeah. Actually, it's funny because like because you know, I will always talk about that. I feel like a river, like torrent of river of emotions that go from like bottom of my like chin all the way down through my stomach. And when these events happen, that's where I feel it the most. And when I just said that, when the immediate compliment I felt it kind of starting to come up like it does. And then as soon as I said, thanks, it was a great experience, it just quietly goes back down. And that
and I feel like it's authentic to you because you're nowhere are you saying I was the best of the best. I went to the best school. I was on the best team. None of that matters.
It's true.
You played D1 volleyball with a scholarship. Period. End.
It is true.
Moving on. If someone wants to ask you another question, we can talk about it. But so I would say, do you feel good about that road?
Oh, good about that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Now, fixing it with your son, how do you, or I shouldn't say I'm sure, have you fixed that with him? And how did you discuss that with him? And what did that look like?
Yeah. So I did talk to him about it. And of course, you know, he looks at me like, what are you even talking about, Mom? Because he's on to the next. Right. And so I've had to learn.
Real quick, though, did he notice you downplayed it when you brought it to his attention?
No.
Do you think it's because he's used to you downplaying?
Ugh, probably. As much as I don't want to acknowledge that.
It wasn't meant as a judgment. It was just a question.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying we've got greater work to do here. Yep.
We all have greater work to do. I mean, besides blowing you off like a traditional teenager.
Sure.
Did he have anything that acknowledged what you saw happen?
No, his comment was like, but Mom, you did play D1 volleyball. And I will admit,
he's going back to the facts.
He's the facts. And what's funny is I didn't talk about that with my kids till maybe like a year ago. Like my kids didn't even know that I played, like they knew I played volleyball, but no, they did not know the extent.
Like what that meant, like what level you played at, or like what commitments you had, or.
Yes. No idea.
Okay.
No idea.
All right. Well, we're going to unpack that in a different episode.
Exactly.
But as far as showing up and like we talk about all the time, you have to mimic, or what's the right word? I'm losing my words. Like you have to show them how to show up in the world. Model. Thank you. Yeah. There was the word I was looking for. So since he didn't really have much except for facts to blow at you, what did you say to him? Just to acknowledge what you did and let him know that that's like not okay.
Yeah. And I just said, look, I sometimes still struggle with compliments is exactly what I said. And he was like, you know, he just stares at me. I'm like, whatever, Mom. Just to him, it wasn't even necessarily a compliment. He was just factually saying,
fact.
You know? And so to him, it was just like, no, she knows about the gym because she played volleyball. Like,
Yeah.
duh,
She knows about being competitive. Like, we got this. My mom and I know this stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, so for him, it was just like, but isn't that interesting? Actually, I never thought about that as he didn't, I took it as a compliment, right?
Yeah.
But I think more than anything, it wasn't so much the conversation with him as just a acknowledgement of just like this conversation, which is, I know that this is a greater area of need in my life and something I'm struggling with in the terms of compliments. And like you said, like, we'll stick with volleyball, but I know there's a whole other array of places in my life where this shows up. So, and I know it's the same issue. So I like the idea of factually saying to myself, are all these things true? Because when we'll deal with these other episodes, it's the same criterion.
Right.
And I think that works to help me take action. And then on top of that, having that canned response of thanks, it was a great experience or something. I mean, that's worked so well in the past in so many other areas as I've gone on. And friend, if you need, like when you're nervous or you're not sure what to say, that's a great thing to just have in your pocket. And then pretty soon you don't need it as much and it gets lower,
Right.
like less and less and less. So
yes. And I would say just stopping at that statement. Don't allow the downplay statement that follows because it's habit. It's habit.
Yeah.
Once you recognize it, it's totally habit. So even if you start to say it, just like mumble off. Who cares if they think you're a mumbler? But anywho, our question for the listener today is, have you ever found yourself downplaying your own success? And what are you doing? What's the story you're telling yourself? And just kind of dive into that a little bit and let us know. Give us a comment, DM us. We love to know all this stuff. So that's it for today.
I hope you got something from my story.
See you next time. Same place, same sisterhood. Bye.